In the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, amidst the lush greenery and captivating sounds of Zoo Atlanta lies a remarkable western lowland gorilla named Annika. Born in 2013, Annika has quickly become the center of attention for zoo visitors and wildlife enthusiasts from around the globe. But the reason for this fascination is not what you might expect. It's not her strength, intelligence, or even her playful antics that have captured the world's attention. Instead, it's something much more peculiar and intriguing: her hand. Her left hand is not completely pink, but the shocking shade sets her apart from any other gorilla anyone has seen before. So what is going on here? Is this really a hand of a human stuck on a gorilla's arm? The answer is no. And although she was born with the hand, it didn't always look the way it does now. It used to look like any other gorilla's hand, dark and covered in fur. But then something happened, maybe a disease or a mutation, and her hand began to change color. The pigmentation on her fingers and the palm became lighter and lighter until they were almost white. But the change didn't stop there. The skin on her fingers wrinkled and stretched, becoming softer and smoother, more like human skin than gorilla skin. And then the final touch: her fingernails grew longer and more rounded, making her hand look even more human-like. This is a real-life case of a gorilla with a human-looking hand, and it's happening right before our eyes. But why is this happening? What could be the cause of this strange phenomenon? The truth is that nobody knows. No scientist or researcher has ever seen anything like this happen to a gorilla before. And there are no answers, only theories. Some say that it's a genetic mutation, a random change in Annika's DNA that somehow affected the pigmentation and shape of her hand. Others say that it could be the result of a disease or infection that somehow altered her hand over time. And still, others say that it's just a freak occurrence that defies explanation. We don't know what's causing this change, but we do know that it's happening, and that it's making Annika's hand look more and more like a human hand every day. The thing is that this isn't just a random mutation. It's a unique trait that has made her famous. People from all over the world are coming to Zoo Atlanta just to see Annika and her hand. They want to see if her hand really looks like a human hand, and if so, how did it get that way? But this isn't the only reason why people are obsessed with her hand. There's another reason that's just as important, if not more so. And that's because Annika's hand is a reminder of our connection to animals. It shows us that we're not so different from other species and that we should appreciate and respect them. It's easy to forget that we're all related and that we share a common ancestry. But when we see a gorilla with a human-looking hand, it makes us realize that we're all part of the same family. We're all animals, and we should treat each other with respect and care. And let's face it, Annika's hand is just plain weird. It's bizarre and unexpected, and that's what makes it so fascinating. We've never seen anything like it before, and we don't know what to make of it. But that's okay. We can just sit back and marvel at the strangeness of nature and the mystery of the world. A lot of people have been trying to explain why she has a human-looking hand. Some say it's because she's a hybrid, a cross between a gorilla and a human. But this is obviously not true. Humans and gorillas are too different to reproduce, and there's no evidence that Anaka is anything other than a purebred gorilla. Others say it's because she was raised by humans and learned to use her hand like we do, but this is also not true. Anaka was born at Zoo Atlanta and has never lived in the wild. She's never had a chance to interact with humans and learn how to use tools. So why does she have a human-looking hand? Well, we don't know for sure. But that's part of what makes her so fascinating. She's a reminder that we don't understand nature as well as we think we do, and there's always more to learn. Western lowland gorillas are known for their dark, coarse skin, which blends seamlessly with the rest of their fur-covered bodies. However, since birth, Anaka has exhibited a distinctive feature that sets her apart from the rest of her species. Her left hand is partly bright pink, with skin, wrinkles, and nails that resemble those of a human. This unusual characteristic has sparked curiosity and speculation among zoologists and visitors alike. The striking contrast of her pale pink hand against her dark fur is hard to miss. It's as if someone took a human hand and placed it on the body of a gorilla. The fact that her hand looks so much like a human hand is even more surprising when you consider the evolutionary distance between the two species. Gorillas and humans share a common ancestor that lived approximately 10 million years ago. Since then, they have diverged significantly. Yet the similarities between Anaka's hand and a human hand are undeniable. To make matters even more puzzling, this oddity is not solely aesthetic. Anaka's pink hand functions just like any other gorilla's hand, allowing her to climb, grip objects, and perform all the tasks necessary for survival in her environment. The reason for this unusual coloration remains a mystery. Experts have put forward various theories, but none can claim to be definitive. Some suggest that it could be due to a genetic mutation affecting melanin production, leading to conditions like vitiligo or partial albinism. However, despite her distinctive hand, Anaka is in perfect health and exhibits no signs of illness or discomfort. As for how this might have occurred, there are a few theories. One is that it could be due to a genetic mutation. Genetic mutations are random changes in an animal's DNA, and they can sometimes lead to unusual physical characteristics. Another theory is that it could be caused by an environmental factor, such as exposure to certain chemicals. However, this is unlikely given that Anaka has been in a controlled environment at the zoo for her entire life. Regardless of the cause, Anaka's unique hand is a fascinating example of the diversity and adaptability of life. It also highlights the importance of zoos in educating the public about wildlife and conservation. The response to Anaka's unusual hand has been largely positive. Visitors to the zoo have been amazed and intrigued by her unique feature, and many have praised the zoo for providing an opportunity to learn about and appreciate the diversity of the animal kingdom. Zoos play a crucial role in conserving endangered species such as western lowland gorillas, which are threatened by habitat loss and poaching. By raising awareness and funds for conservation efforts, zoos like Zoo Atlanta can help protect these magnificent creatures and ensure that future generations can marvel at them as well. However, there have been some criticisms regarding the ethics of keeping animals in captivity for display. Some argue that it is inhumane to confine wild animals to small enclosures, depriving them of their natural habitat and freedom. However, proponents of zoos argue that they provide a valuable service by educating the public about wildlife and raising funds for conservation efforts. Additionally, many zoos, including Zoo Atlanta, participate in breeding programs for endangered species, ensuring their survival for future generations. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to visit a zoo is a personal one. However, it is important to choose reputable zoos that prioritize the welfare of their animals and use their resources to make a positive impact on conservation efforts. Zoos, like Zoo Atlanta, that focus on education, research, and conservation are playing an important role in protecting endangered species and ensuring that they thrive for generations to come. One of the reasons for this is that they are relatively rare, meaning that when they do occur, they attract a lot of attention. In addition, gorillas are already charismatic animals that capture the imagination of many people. When a gorilla displays an unusual characteristic like Anaka's hand, it becomes even more intriguing, and people are drawn to it. The fact that Anaka's hand looks so much like a human hand is particularly intriguing because it highlights the evolutionary connection between the two species. Despite the fact that gorillas and humans diverged from a common ancestor millions of years ago, we still share many similarities, including our skeletal structure and the presence of opposable thumbs. Seeing a gorilla with a human-like hand is a reminder of the common ancestry that all living things share, and it can evoke a sense of wonder and curiosity in those who see it. Zoo Atlanta is taking full advantage of this uniqueness. The zoo has a rich history of conservation and research, but the addition of Anaka to their troupe has brought in a new wave of visitors and media attention. Zoo officials have been careful to handle Anaka's situation sensitively, ensuring that she receives the care and attention she needs, while also providing educational opportunities for visitors. They have worked with animal experts and researchers to learn more about her condition, and have developed educational materials that highlight the importance of conservation and the diversity of the animal kingdom. By sharing Anaka's story, the zoo is not only educating the public about gorillas, but also raising funds for conservation efforts that protect these magnificent creatures in the wild. In conclusion, Anaka's story is a remarkable example of the diversity and adaptability of life. Her unusual hand has captured the attention of people around the world and has become a symbol of the evolutionary connection between gorillas and humans. While there is still much that we don't know about her condition, has provided an opportunity for zoos like Zoo Atlanta to educate the public about wildlife and raise funds for conservation efforts. By appreciating and learning about the animals around us, we can work together to protect them and ensure that future generations can marvel at them as well.